Okay, so start things off. Yes, I am aware Karrion Kross has forfeited the NXT Championship due to injury. Yes, I know they're doing the 60-man Iron Man match or whatever with the 4 guys. I don't care. I'm sorry. It should be 4 guys who haven't held the championship before. It should be a new opportunity to make new stars, not 4 retreads. Not 4 guys who have already held the championship and don't need to hold the championship and should really be on the main roster at this point. Sorry, I'm sure the match will be fine, but I don't care anymore. I'm done. I've had it. Anyway, let's go on to something a little bit better. Payback 2020. I'm trying to remember what the last Payback was. Was it 2019? I can't remember. But yeah, the kickoff show was definitely dominated with talks about how Roman Reigns has enlisted Paul Heyman to be his manager. Thus, the circle is complete, and he is now pretty much a full heel. They didn't do anything with him leading Retribution. In fact, they said they doubled up security to make sure Retribution's antics are stopped for tonight. Again, given the way this might turn out, I don't know. But I'm glad they're not rushing it, I guess. But yeah, it's kind of weird how they're having impact on the regular TV shows, but then 2 pay-per-views happen and nothing. I mean, you look at when the Nexus debuted, and again, like they wrought havoc. They went through like 3 weeks, and then they went through a pay-per-view and went through another pay-per-view, and they didn't get a full match until SummerSlam. So like if you're gonna do something, start doing something with it. Anyway, also during the kickoff show, Booker T compared the tag team of Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax to him and Goldust, which is funny given that Dustin's in AEW now, and they've kind of always been really dodgy about mentioning the former stars, but still, I guess they let him slide on that one. And from there, let's move on to our kickoff show match. The Riott Squad versus the Iconics. So yeah, Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan reunited a while back. It's been tenuous because, again, Riott initially turned on Liv, but then wants to sort of make up, and Liv has been untrusting of that, and the Iconics have both been feeding up into that. Though the Riott Squad are now wearing matching gear for the first time ever. So yeah. Although it's still not the real Riott Squad, obviously Sarah Logan isn't around, but she was released, but then it was later revealed she was also pregnant, so yeah, I don't know if those were necessarily coinciding, but obviously there's a bit more important there. So early on, Peyton Royce and Ruby Riott were in the ring, and Royce kind of led Riott outside and straight into a big boot from Billy Kay. Kay tagged in and got Ruby Riott in an armbar. At another point, Riott tried to fight out to tag in Liv Morgan, but Kay distracted Morgan, and then Royce hit a big kick, which made Morgan think that Riott was actually the one who kicked her. But eventually she came back in and got the hot tag. Morgan hit a double stomp onto Peyton Royce, and Royce injured her shoulder, it looked like. She was selling a shoulder injury. The Iconics hit the Deja Vu on Ruby Riott, but then Morgan broke it up, and then Morgan and Riott hit dual kicks. Liv Morgan hit her kind of code breaker type finisher, and then Ruby Riott hit the Riott kick for the 3 count of the victory on, I think it was Peyton Royce. So, and then afterwards, the two actually made it up to the kickoff show set, and they were blown up completely and talking about how, don't worry, everything's good between us now, and we're good, and we won a match, and da-da-da-da-da, and yeah, they apologized to each other. So yeah, not a terrible match, but again, that was a little plotting. Even for a kickoff show match, I think it was a little too slow paced. Like, I like the idea of what they're trying to build, but I don't think they did a really good job of building it. From there, moving on to the show proper, we have the United States Championship match, Apollo Crews versus Bobby Lashley. They're still showing this old graphic, the title graphic for the United States Championship. They're still showing the old one. And I think I heard that this new championship design has been around since 2019. Actually, yeah, like they didn't switch the championships until just recently, but that design has been in the works. So you'd think they would have also had a new graphic for that. I don't know what's going on with that. Early on, Lashley caught some. Lashley was chain wrestling on Crews a little bit, definitely hitting some waistlock takedowns. Crews came back with a big drop kick. He then got Lashley outside the ring and hit a moonsault to the outside of the ring. He tried to go for more, but then the Hurt Business kind of got in the way. They didn't make contact because that would have been a disqualification, but they definitely kept Lashley or kept Crews away from Lashley. Lashley came in, hit a Cobra Clutch, caught Crews and hit him with like a Cobra Clutch slam across the ropes, basically. Crews then hit rolled out of a suplex and hit an enziguri. Lashley hit a follow-away slam. Lashley hit the Dominator, but only got a 2 count on it. Crews hit a second rope crossbody. He hit a spine buster and followed that up with a standing moonsault, doing the Chadwick Boseman tribute. Pretty much all the African American competitors tonight did Chadwick Boseman tributes. And but then Crews fought out of a full Lashley locked on the full Nelson. Crews fought out of that, hit a big frog splash, but Lashley fought out of that, hit a spine buster and locked on the full Nelson again, and Crews tapped out. But almost immediately afterwards, as Lashley and the Hurt Business celebrated in the ring, Crews jumped Lashley. The numbers game kind of caught up to him, but Crews rolled out of the ring and vowed to get his championship back. So he at least got a little bit of a strong look towards the end there. This was actually a really good match. I think it was definitely better than SummerSlam, where again there was that kind of plotting nature to everything. This one was definitely a bit tighter. They told a better story. Lashley's seemingly finding his groove. Again, I keep thinking Lashley should be pushed to the main event. I don't know why they've been holding him back so much, but again, maybe giving him this secondary championship briefly will help a lot. So, and also it made Apollo Crews look pretty, at least pretty strong. I mean, he was able to hold his own with Lashley long enough, so maybe he could come back and win it soon. Okay, our next match is Big E versus Sheamus. Right off the bat before the match, they played a little promo from Sheamus talking about how Big E didn't hold up the New Day, or they didn't. New Day didn't hold Big E back. They propped him up. That's what it was. Yeah, it was a really good little promo there. Big E right off the bat through his entrance jack hit Corey Graves when he came out. He flipped out of a waistlock attempt from Sheamus, he flipped Sheamus out to break the waistlock. And Big E tripped Sheamus on the apron. He went for a splash, but Sheamus avoided it. Somewhere along the line, Big E tweaked his knee in the process, and Sheamus began targeting it. He locked on a cloverleaf, he hit his Irish Curse backbreaker. He torqued the knee quite a lot. Big E came back, he had a series of belly-to-belly suplexes, but Sheamus came back in an Alabama slam. Big E eventually speared Sheamus off the ring apron. Sheamus countered a big ending into a heel hook hold. He hit a bro kick, but only got a 2 count on it. He went for a second, and Big E caught him and hit the big ending for the 3 count on the victory. Yeah, it's a decent enough match. Again, good job telling the story. I do love Sheamus' heel work in this. Like I said, that promo right at the beginning was really well done. It definitely made Big E look strong. He managed to come back and, he looked, as dominant as he probably should be at this point. I do kind of like the angle they're working with him, that he's still trying to be Big E from the New Day, even though so many people are advising him, hey, you need to kind of drop a lot of the goofy shtick right now. You could be a world champion, but you need to be focused and pay attention, and not throwing pancakes and dancing and coming out to the New Day theme anymore. But I like that he's saying, no, I gotta be true to who I am, because even when the New Day started, everyone laughed at us, but now we're huge merch sellers, we're big draws, so why should I change? I do kind of like the way they're doing it. They're working that out. Anyway, our next match is King Corbin versus Matt Riddle. Before the match started, they had an interview with Riddle, and they mentioned a tweet Corbin had made that referenced some earlier events. He said, Riddle, I want to make Riddle look like a joke in the ring. He already proved he can't be convincing at home or something of that nature. And yeah, that really did rankle Riddle pretty much. I don't know how much of it was legit or if they ran it through him when they did that, but yeah, he was a little cheesed when that happened. It didn't have too much of an effect, though, because immediately, Corbin attacked Riddle during the entrance. Corbin threw Riddle out of the ring, off of the announce table. Riddle did come in with a series of kicks. He attempted to come more luck, but Corbin came back, he had a big lariat. He did his little thing where he rolls out of the ring and runs around the post and catches him. Corbin hit a clothesline. Riddle hit another kick. Knocked Corbin out of the ring. Riddle hit running knee. Eventually, Riddle hit Corbin, and he hit him really hard in like the midsection. Corbin was selling a pretty nasty bump, it looked like. He caught him like kind of right here. They're saying it might be a liver or a kidney shot maybe, and definitely he was hurting, and you could tell something was going on. Corbin did come back at a deep six. He went for another move, but again, Riddle caught him in the midsection. Riddle eventually hit the bro to sleep, and then the floating bro for the 3 count of the victory. His joy was short-lived, though, as he made his way backstage. Corbin attacked again and threw Riddle into some audio equipment, I think. I couldn't, the big cases you said they have set up there. Yeah, this was kind of a pedestrian match. Riddle looked like Riddle, Corbin looked like Corbin, and the twain really did not meet. Sadly, Chad Gable did not interfere in this match. I think that would have probably helped a little bit, but yeah, this was just kind of a very dry, forgettable filler match. I would have much rather had something that maybe furthered an actual storyline at this point. Like, even this maybe should have been a kickoff show match. I don't know if I would have put the Riott Squad on pay-per-view, but you get the idea at that point. So yeah, like I said, it was alright. Okay, our next match is the Women's Tag Team Championship match. Sasha Banks and Bayley against Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. Let's see, Baszler and Jax, right off the bat, were arguing over who actually got to start the match. Baszler actually blind tagged in to start it out. She stomped on Sasha's hand and then locked Bayley in a hammerlock. Realizing they probably needed to get Jax in the ring, they managed to shove Shayna into Nia, which got a tag in. Jax fell out of the ring, though, and got hurt in the process. Banks and Sasha and Bayley hit a double bomb on Shayna Baszler, but Jax broke up the pin and threw Sasha Banks into the barricade. Bayley tried to distract the ref, which allowed Sasha to hit a chop block on Jax. They began to isolate Nia Jax at this point. Jax came back through Sasha into Bayley. Bayley managed to fight out of the leg drop, though, and tried to lock on an ankle lock. At this point, Baylor got back in the ring and realized, hey, we can actually win this. Helped fight them through. Jax splashed Bayley and Sasha in the corner, but Sasha fought out a power bomb and hit a code breaker. Then as they were fighting, Baszler got in the ring, tried to lock the Kirifuna clutch on Bayley. Sasha moved to interfere, but Baszler caught her. It looked like it was distracting long enough for Bayley to come in and get Bayley to belly, but instead Shayna locked both Sasha and Bayley in holds. She locked Sasha in a kind of a cloverleaf, like or the death, I forget what it's called. Let's just say a step over toe hold, and then she got the Kirifuna clutch on Bayley. At that point, Sasha tried to fight out of it and reach back to break up the Kirifuna clutch, but Shayna actually grabbed Sasha's arm and choked it around Bayley's throat, and Bayley eventually tapped out. So Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler have won the Women's Tag Team Championships. Really good, surprisingly good match. Baszler and Jax actually worked really well together. Jax wasn't too botchy at this point. I think there were a couple points she may have slipped up a little bit, but I think they did a good job of keeping her, having her hit the right moves at the right time, the right way. It didn't look like Sasha or Bayley were too injured at this, but still, they lost, and I don't know how they're feeding into this. Like, again, you could tell they were trying to build to I think the idea was, again, Sasha was sacrificing herself for Bayley, but it didn't quite seem to take this time. Again, much like I think the main criticism of the last time this happened with Bayley not taking the hip attack from Asuka in Sasha's place. So, yeah, Sasha lost the championship, the Raw Women's Championship, sorry. And people kind of getting a little confused, as to, well, but technically it did distract Asuka long enough for Sasha to attempt to get the hold on, so it really wasn't a failure in that case. And I think the same thing happened here. Like, again, Sasha charged at Shayna, got her to break the clutch, but then as Shayna locked the hold on and began moving, Bayley went for the Bayley to belly, but Sasha turned it around and locked on the Kirifuda clutch again. So it's like, I don't think you quite got the same effect as the botch there. But still, afterwards, Bayley definitely glared at Sasha. And yeah, that did play into things a little bit there, but no turn yet. So I do wonder if they maybe ever planned for this to be the main event. I would have liked to have seen that, and then do like the Ciampa Gargano thing at the end. But I guess you get what you can get. Don't know where this is going to lead, but still, it's kind of interesting to see now. Okay, our next match is Keith Lee versus Randy Orton. So the storyline here is obviously Keith Lee has debuted on Raw. On that same episode of Raw, Drew McIntyre offered Randy Orton another championship opportunity. Orton snapped and punted McIntyre on the head 3 times, and this has reportedly left Drew McIntyre with a hairline fracture in his jaw. I don't know if this is a means to get the championship off of McIntyre or not, but still. But then again, given what happened here, I don't know what they're going to do. But right off the bat, Orton's acting a little paranoid because he locked Keith Lee in a headlock, but immediately looked up the entrance ramp as they were expecting McIntyre to run in. Lee did a leapfrog over Orton and hit a big running crossbody. Orton hit a back suplex on the announce table, but Lee then shoulder tackled Orton out of the ring. Lee then hit a back suplex of his own on the announce table. But Orton came back in his Hangman DDT. He started to go for the RKO, but Lee countered it into the Spirit Bomb for the 3 count and the victory. So, kind of a surprise move there. There's definitely a good tight match here. There wasn't a lot of plotting going on. Definitely made Lee look impressive. I do have to wonder, though, again, with Orton now losing another match, being caught off guard by a move, are they maybe not going to push him to the championship now? Are they going to push Keith Lee? I mean, they're calling for that right now on social media, but maybe, I don't know. Again, genuinely surprising, though. And again, it's definitely making Keith Lee look like a big star, which is good, because again, we need new big stars at this point. Okay, so from there, our next match is the team of Rollins and Murphy taking on Rey and Dominic Mysterio. Thankfully, Dominic learned a lesson and got rid of that stupid hood that was part of his entrance attire last week. I guess I didn't mention it too much. He had the zip up top, but then he had this hood attached to it, and it never really played into anything, and it really looked cumbersome because it doesn't help it. Like, for an entrance, it's okay, but if you're wrestling with it, it doesn't add anything. Right off the bat, Dominic went right after Rollins, tried to get him to come out, but Murphy came to Rollins' aid, but then Rollins talked him down. Dominic hit a springboard into an arm drag on Rollins. The Mysterios then hit a leg sweep drop kick combo on Murphy. Rollins came back, hit a gut buster on Rey. Rollins they set up the spot where Rollins slid Rey did his kind of torso slide across the ring to the bottom, but Murphy was there and he had his knees up for kind of a gut buster, code breaker type maneuver on the outside of the ring. Rollins and Murphy then countered Dominic's crossbody into a Falcon Arrow, caught Dominic as he attempted a crossbody, and then Rollins hit a Falcon Arrow on him. Murphy then tried to cheap shot Dominic, but got thrown into the barricade where he fought back out of a buckle bomb, hit a drop kick. Rollins came back, hit a big tilt-a-roll slam after the West Coast. Rey hit the West Coast up, but then Rollins got up into a tilt-a-roll backbreaker. Rollins countered a crossbody into another gutbuster on Rey. At this point, they then went for a move where Rollins tagged Murphy. Murphy was setting up to basically do this sort of swing kick into Ray's head, but Ray fought out of it, and as a result, Murphy accidentally kicked Rollins. That enabled Ray to get the hot tag Dominic, who came in and hit Murphy with the 619 and then the frog splash for the 3 count and the victory. Afterwards, as Rollins went up the entrance ramp, Murphy tried to look apologetic, but Rollins just glared at him the whole time as the Mysterio celebrated in the ring. Definitely a better, I mean, a lot of people were praising the match last week. I know I had my problems with it, but this one I think was better because it was tighter. Again, there weren't these long dragging sequences where they were trying to set things up and take a long time. So I think that definitely played into it. I actually enjoyed this match better. I think, again, flowed better, good use of Murphy, good use of Rollins. Looks like they're moving to break up this faction because AOP are nowhere to be found. Austin Theory's back on NXT. So yeah, it's just Rollins and Murphy now, and it looks like they're breaking them up. So I guess that faction's run its course. Like I said, I would rather see Dominic maybe go down to NXT, hone his skills a little bit more. Like I said, I don't mind him being on the main roster for these first couple of matches, but like I said, what do you do afterwards? Like, is he going to constantly be, Ray's son who comes in only to help him when needed? At which point, why would you pay him a big contract for that? So again, if I would like to see Dominic maybe go off on his own now and again go down to NXT or even 205 Live and try to work down there a little bit, and like I said, hone his skills a little bit more. I couldn't help but notice this. Afterwards they ran a promo for the next pay-per-view, which is Clash of Champions, but they gave 2 dates for it. They first said it was on September 20th, but then they said no, it's September 27th. I'm guessing it's the latter. I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, that was a little confusing. Okay, now it's time for the main event, the triple threat match for the Universal Championship. Bray Wyatt, Roman Reigns, and Braun Strowman. Right off the bat, The Fiend was making his entrance, but then Strowman jumped him as soon as he got in the ring. Strowman was not out yet. He basically came out through the crowd, the Thunderdome. Reigns did not show up, but the bell rang anyway. So it's just The Fiend and Strowman fighting the whole time. Fiend hit his sister Abigail right off the bat. The Fiend hit Uranagi on the announce table. At this point, they cut a couple times to Alexa Bliss and her new Bray Wyatt-esque hairstyle. It looks like her old hairstyle. I don't know what they're talking about. But she's looking on from the side backstage, spinning her hair in her fingers, so don't know what that means. They didn't do anything with her last week, so I don't know how they were going to have that play in now. In fact, it really didn't, outside of just showing those clips. Fiend hit Strowman with a mallet. Oh yeah, Fiend pulled out his mallet, which again, Michael Cole did not seem to know what a mallet was. Thankfully, he didn't try to impale someone on the mallet like he did last year. But still, jeez. Eventually, the Strowman fought back. They were fighting up the ramp. He threw the Fiend into the LED board. Reigns has still not shown up at this point. And then Strowman tackled the Fiend off stage. They got back. They fought down back to the ring. Strowman hit a move to knock the Fiend down. He went up to the top rope to try a splash. The Fiend got up, hit a superplex, and the ring collapsed as the result. Yeah, they did the Brock Lesnar Big Show thing again. Poor Charles Robinson took a really bad bump out of this. Like, he's supposed to fall down and fall under the bottom rope to the ring. For some reason, he went out over the second rope, and looks like he kind of fell a little awkwardly. At this point, Roman Reigns' music finally hits. He signed the contract, which he apparently forgot to do. You'd think they wouldn't have started the match until the contract was signed, but okay. He hit the ring, but unfortunately the ref was out, so they had to send out another ref. And by that point, both Wyatt and Strowman had recovered. So the Fiend kicked out of... they had kicked out at 2. The Fiend got up and managed to lock the Animal Claw on Reigns, but then Reigns low-blowed the Fiend, and this was still in the ring, which was, all leaned over and toppled. So when it happened, they fell, and they both kind of tumbled out of the ring and landed really hard. But then Reigns got up and speared Strowman for the 3 count of the victory. So Roman Reigns is once more the Universal Champion. He is most assuredly now a heel, judging by his actions. No, they did not do a Retribution reveal. I don't know if they are. They're going to still pursue that. He's still pushing the whole wreck everything and leave shirt, so I guess maybe, I don't know. If they do, I maybe want to put the hold on it at least for another month or so. At least maybe reveal a few other members of Retribution or who exactly they are. So again, we could maybe familiarize ourselves more. Again, maybe they could have had Retribution interfere in this match. Probably would have made more sense. I didn't notice anything too weird with the fandom this time. I know last week there was a lot of shenanigans. I think they have started to get a bit of a handle on it. So, I mean, there was one point where a guy put on a Fiend mask and they blacked out the screen. I don't know if that was meant to be intentional or not, but still, again, I think they're getting better at catching people there. Overall, the show was pretty enjoyable. I liked it a lot more than SummerSlam, even though I thought a lot of the matches were a bit more meh. But the matches themselves had decent flow to them. They didn't really plot around too much. Or, like I said, the timing issues of the last week's matches were kind of what did them in for me. So again, seeing much tighter matches, seeing, I think, better storytelling in almost all of them, I think did a really good job. Only one of them really felt fillery, and that was Riddle and Corbin. The others, at least, they seem to be doing things, so I could kind of give them some credit there. That being said, I still have a few problems with the show. Like, again, I don't know. This one's a little hard because I don't think it had much to do with the timing as it did, like, again, the way some of these things are turning out. Again, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, it's nice to see Reigns be champion again. He had a decent enough angle in that, he forfeited that championship 2 years ago. Remember, because it was leukemia. And he was supposed to get it back at WrestleMania this year, but then he had to drop out of Mania. So, him finally getting it back seemed to make a lot of sense. Again, him being a heel and aligning himself with Heyman, I think, is going to help now. I mean, people have been asking for this the last 6 years, basically. So, again, I think it's going to work better. I do like what they're doing. Like, the show was not perfect, but it was definitely enjoyable. And so I'm going to be giving Payback 2020, I forgot the name of the show, sorry. Payback 2020 a B. So, like I said, not bad, pretty enjoyable. Not the greatest show, but definitely worth the watch. Okay, so again, next video I'm pretty sure is going to be the review for the rest of Muppets Now Season 1. I know I'm going to have another video. I have 3 videos. I know it's going to be Muppets Now, the Random Trade Review, and then another video. But I don't know if that other video is going to come out first or secondly. It's either going to be Muppets Now on Friday or that other video on Friday, and then Muppets Now on Saturday, and the Random Trade Review and the Mask Omnibus on Sunday. So, like I said, just keep watching, subscribe, ring the notification bell, although, to be honest, the channels that I've hit the notification bell on have not notified me when they've uploaded a video. I only find it when I go to YouTube. So, anyway, see you all next time. Hey guys, remember to check out my Patreon at patreon.com/SleepyTimeForCat Productions, where you can help me expand my wrestling coverage to stuff beyond WWE, NXT, and the occasional AEW free show.